amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed.
I'm being joined by a chieftain of the APC, a former Minister of Aviation, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
How does the outcome of or the emergence of Bola Tinubu come to you? Did you expect it?
Well, it was a resounding victory for our presidential flag bearer, and it was a very, very keen contest. And of course, anybody that would be surprised by the outcome clearly would not have been following Bola Tinubu's history and the way in which he plays his politics. He was very effective. He did very, very well. He dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, reached out to as many people as possible. And at the end of the day, he carried the day by quite a wide margin. And it didn't surprise me. But at the same time, I feel that the others also did as best as they could. It was a keen fight. But the best man eventually won. And we're all behind Asiwaju Bola Tinubu now.
You were not a supporter of Tinubu in the race. I mean, but you don't have a choice now because now he's emerged as a party's flag bearer. Did you see him winning?
Well, the point is that everybody had a preference, but I had immense respect for every single person that ran in that race. Every single one of them, I felt could do a good job for Nigeria. In his own case, I felt that given his experience and given the fact that he's been in this game for so long, he will do a good job for us as a flag bearer, and I believe he will win. I mean, he's tenacious and he's strong, he's focused, and he knows how to play the game. And I believe that he will provide a very effective response to the challenge of Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And I believe that he's going to do very, very well indeed. We will do very well. And of course, we will all be behind him, shoulder to shoulder, stand firm, stand strong against the enemy in the field, and we'll win the battle in the end, by God's grace.
Well, would I say lucky, or you being across the sides of the divide? 4 years ago, you were on the other side. Yeah, was it 4 years ago, 2019? No, not really.
Well, just about 2 years ago or so.
Yeah, you were on the other side. You supported Atiku Abubakar.
2019.
2019,
yes.
Now, you're now on this side. It's interesting how fate plays out in all of these things. Now, did you ever see yourself now working against an Atiku Abubakar? Because you will be working against him.
We will be working against him in a very decisive and forceful way. And I have absolutely no regrets about that. If you look back in 2019, I wasn't really involved in his campaign at the presidential level. I didn't get involved in the campaign itself. It was in 2015 that I was involved in the campaign for President Jonathan, if you remember. But this time round, we're on opposite sides to the PDP, and I'm on the opposite side to Vice President Atiku. And I'm supporting President-to-be Bola Tinubu, and we're going to win. And you know, believe me, it'll be a very tough fight. Atiku cannot be underestimated. Those that say it'll be a walkover, I always look at them and say, look, obviously you don't know politics, you don't know Atiku. He's a formidable candidate, a very strong man, a very focused man, an experienced man, and you need to respect that. And he has an excellent team of people around him. But I believe with the nature, the tenacious nature of Asiwaju, with the people around him, and with the party, the governors, the president, and everybody else behind him, in unity, in strength, and in power, I believe that we'll be able to defeat him. It won't be easy. It'll be a tough fight, but I believe we'll prevail in the end.
Your former principal in cabinet. Vice president
yes, well, I was in cabinet.
As minister.
My principal was the president of the Federal Republic, President Olusegun Obasanjo, and of course he was also my boss. Yeah. Vice President Atiku was a very key member of that administration. I'm proud to have served in that administration, and I believe strongly that Vice President Atiku at that time did a lot of good things. That government did a lot of good things. But times have changed now. This is 2023, not 2005 or 2006. It's a new ball game, new players on the
you don't think he has the capacity to rule this country?
Who?
Atiku Abubakar.
I don't think he ought to rule this country at this point in time.
Why
I think
not?
that somebody else has come in who is infinitely better. I think the party that he's leading is a party that is not what it used to be. I think it's a party that has a lot of internal contradictions, which we will address at the time of the election itself. And I believe that he's a candidate that really his time has passed. I believe that Bola Tinubu, who has done so well at the state level in Lagos, in the Southwest, and has has supported and lifted up so many people to the federal level, like the vice president that we have today, and so many other leaders, is going to do a much better job and will be in a position to do a much better job. More importantly, I believe that he will enhance national unity far more than Atiku Abubakar.
Is Tinubu a match for Atiku?
Tinubu is the question should be put the other way around. Is Atiku a match for Tinubu? Tinubu is a forceful fighter. I mean, we've been on opposite sides before.
Tinubu will be fighting at the center, perhaps for the first time himself.
Sure, but he's put so many people up there over the years.
But fighting yourself,
and
being
he's
in the
coming out
battlefield by yourself,
sure,
and being a general from behind or from home is different. Atiku is not new to this game. Yeah, he's been right here several times. For him, it will be deja vu. I mean, because he's seen this so many times.
Atiku is a veteran. He's a veteran fighter. He's a strong fighter. But I'm assuring you that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is even stronger. He's more focused. He's more deadly when it comes to this game. He's far more cunning and he's far more effective. And he will match Atiku at every point in time. Not just him, all of us will. Whatever the PDP wants to bring forward, whoever they're bringing forward, whatever they do, we'll match them. We'll meet them in the field and we will defeat them resoundingly.
Really?
Sure.
And the figures from 2019, if you're looking into that, this Muhammadu Buhari will not for the first time be on the ballot.
Sure.
And APC, like an orphan, will be left without the man with 10 million votes or 8 million votes.
Luckily, that man is still very much alive and will be alive at the time. He'll be campaigning vigorously in his base and throughout northern Nigeria, throughout the country, for Asiwaju. Not only that, that man has lieutenants who are governors and party leaders all over the north, in Kanu, in Kaduna, in Yobe, in Kogi State, all over the north and in the south, that will follow him into battle any day, any time. And that man has endorsed Asiwaju Tinubu, who has a solid base in the southwest, a base that cannot be penetrated, a base that cannot be questioned, and he will have next to 16 million votes behind him of the people of the southwest who want power to come down to the southwest. That is what Atiku has to face this time round. That is what the PDP has to challenge, and they are not going to be able to match it, I assure you.
Let's look at, I like us to dissect a few issues here.
Sure.
And one of those issues are those immediate tasks before Bola Tinubu. They're daunting. They're not going to be easy. If you put up that illustration one more time. So these are some of the tasks before him. The choice of a running mate. From the permutations and what we are hearing, we understand that as it is right now, there are talks that Bola Tinubu might pander to the president's wishes on this. I might give him a chance of first refusal or allow the president to give him a choice which he may leave for. What's your take on that stand?
Well, first of all, I am not aware of this, but if that's the truth, I really don't understand what's wrong with that. I mean, the president is the leader of the party. He's the president of the Federal Republic. He allowed a free and fair election. He didn't interfere in the primaries at all. It makes perfect sense to me for him to consult with the president, for the president, and for the president, if he so chooses, to communicate his own views and his own choices to the president, to our candidate. That makes perfect sense to me. I'm sure that other people will also do the same thing. But ultimately, the decision as to who the running mate will be for one man alone. That is our candidate, Tinubu himself, together with the leaders of the party. And I have no doubt that they will come.
I'm not sure that's going to be straightforward.
Well,
because from the understanding that we're getting is the fact that, apart from the fact that Tinubu will respect Muhammadu Buhari very much, he also is thinking and is talking to the governors who made a lot of effort, especially the northern governors. Right. You saw the role they played. Yes. They stood their grounds and said, look, this ticket is not going to the north. It must go to the south. And we understand that is the governor's role will make him go to the governors and also asking them to give him a list.
Well, listen, let me tell you this. I'm actually fully aware of all that's going on in this matter. But I can assure you the president will make an input. The governors will make an input, the party will make an input, but ultimately the choice will be for Asiwaju to make himself. And he will make that choice. And then we'll know who he will. And there are many, many people that are highly qualified for this, from the northwest, from the northeast, and also from the north central zones.
We understand that northwest might be the preferred zone to pick from.
Well, I don't know about that. What I will tell you, though, is that as far as I'm concerned, if I had an input to make, I would say the northeast or the north central, perhaps. There are eminently qualified people there. There's the governor of Yobe State, there's a Senate president. You go to the North Central, you have somebody like Yaya Bello, you have somebody like Governor Sani Bello. There are so many, simply because they have never had it. I mean, but then again, these considerations are all leaned towards one thing. How are we going to win? Where do we play, where do we get our VP from so that we can win the race? I believe, honestly speaking, the Northeast really has a legitimate claim. The North Central has a legitimate claim. But ultimately, the decision will be for Asiwaju. And wherever he goes, whether Northwest, Northeast, or North Central, we shall win. We shall give it a good fight, and we shall win this election by God's grace.
Now, there are also the thinking, and I'd like to get your view, whether Nigeria of today can accommodate that kind of thinking, is the religious balancing of the running mate. Muhammadu Buhari, a Muslim. Now, your party is having Bola Tinubu, a Muslim. There are those who think that to win election, it's more preferable, a Muslim northerner might be more acceptable in the north in winning election or the votes of the northern bloc. And those who think that Muslim ticket might be a tough chew. Do you see a Muslim ticket on the bill?
Well, first of all, my view is that this is a decision that the candidate and the party has to make. Once that decision is made, we will now comment on it. For me, I've made my views clear behind closed doors about what I think ought to happen. But the decision is for the candidate. Whatever he decides to do, whether it's a Muslim ticket or whether it's a Muslim-Christian ticket, he must win. And I'll add this. We must ensure that we put forward a ticket that will, that will give us victory at the polls. So if it's a Muslim ticket, fine. If it's a Muslim-Christian ticket, fine. But whatever it is important that we win this election. And we must do whatever it takes. Many believe that a Muslim ticket will ensure that we win the polls, that we will ensure that we win the election. Well, it may be true. And we'll look at it when the time comes. Others feel that the religious sensitivities are such that we have to be careful about that. We'll discuss that issue. We'll see what happens. But ultimately, it's his choice. Whatever he decides to do, we are going to go into the field and we're going to win, whether Muslim or Muslim Christian. But there are some very, very, very good people in the Northeast and the North Central who are qualified for that job. And I don't think religion should be a barrier to that. I really don't believe
you think so?
To be. No,
you think capacity and religion?
I believe
the religion should not be.
I understand the sensitivities. I've argued it on several occasions, and I know how people feel about this. Sometimes, though, we need to take emotion out of this. Sometimes we need to look at what I call real politics and do whatever it takes to win an election. We just had a convention. We had two Christian pastors. One, the vice president, who is a pastor, and Pastor Tunde Bakare, who are running in those primaries, and neither of them won the election. Meanwhile, you had almost about 1,000 Christians that were voting. Nobody voted along religious lines in the primaries of our party. So when it comes to the general election, yes, it's a much more pronounced issue. When you look at what's happened over the last few years, there are religious sensitivities. People are very sensitive about faith, matters of faith. But there are ways of balancing. For example, let me give you an example. If you have a president, a Muslim vice president, you can also say perhaps you could have a Christian Senate president, a Christian Speaker of the House, and a Christian SGF. I'm not advocating that. I'm simply saying that is a possibility. I'm not saying I support that. I'm simply saying it's something that we could consider.
No, because if
that is the decision
knowing your own stance, and you have a very strong stance on the issue of faith, and how one faith should not override the other. You've expressed these views severally.
On several occasions.
Yeah, and for those who believe that, well, if there are considerations that, well, it's looking so much that we have very strong Muslim contestants or candidates in the race from across the political parties. APC, a Muslim. PDP, a Muslim. Now, the question is, we are in a heterogeneous society. We are in a multiple religious society. So the concentration of religion also needs to come into the picture.
Sure.
Now, the conversation and the debate, whether that should take a backseat, because maybe that's how your party feels at the time, or because of political expediency.
Absolutely.
Do you think that offends some people?
But definitely, many will feel, upset by that. But it's for those of us in the party to try to explain that, sometimes, not sometimes, oftentimes, you must do what is expedient in order to win. Now, let me say this. Let me be very clear about this. I have not endorsed a Muslim ticket. I'm simply exploring the possibilities, and I'm simply saying that these are the possibilities. I'm also saying that if that is the choice that is ultimately made, it is a choice that we will defend and we will explain to the Nigerian people, and that there are other ways of balancing the ticket, as it were. As you quite rightly said, I've, for many, many years, I've defended the interests of people of my faith in this country, in the politics of this country. And I'm not about to throw it out of the window today for any reason whatsoever. No, not even for a victory at the presidential level. There are over 50 million Christians in this country, well over, who ought to be represented, who ought to feel comfortable, and who ought to believe that they have a role to play. What I'm saying, though, is that insisting on having a vice president, Christian vice president, may not be what is absolutely necessary to make Christians feel comfortable. There are other ways of ensuring that we have strong Christian representation, and we have, we allay the fears of Christians, and we support Christians in this country. There are many ways of doing that. That is all I'm saying, and we need to look at this. And I'm sure when this decision is made, whatever decision they arrive at, we will now try to explain it. I've made my own inputs at the relevant quarters on this issue, but whatever it is they decide, we will explain it, we will defend it, and we'll go to the field with it, and we will win.
Just in a few days that your party must do it. It's not a matter
of...
Sure,
it's just a few days.
Yeah,
sure.
So you have to do that. But let's take a breather. And when we come back, hoping that Governor Nasir El-Rufai might be able to join us. He was one of those who stood their guns that a Southerner must be the candidate of the APC. We might be getting his view right here as much as we can, able to connect with him. We'll take a break, everyone, and we're looking at the postmortem of the APC presidential primary and the task before the before the flag bearer and the ruling party. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We've been speaking with a former aviation minister and a chieftain of the APC, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.